Lessons from Lumley Castle: why some businesses last 600 years while others barely last 6 months. So what's the best place to work on your business? How about a 14th century castle in the northeast of England? Because that is where me and my Dog Daycare Success Academy members gathered for our Q2 Immersion event just a few weeks ago. What's a DDSA immersion event, I hear you say? Well, it's a bit like a mastermind. In fact, it is a mastermind. But as the name suggests, it's more immersive, more interactive, with more teaching, breakout sessions, special guest training, networking opportunities, sharing ideas, and most importantly, goal setting. So every one of my DDSA members leaves every immersion event with a personalized business battle plan of action that they use as a blueprint and compass to help them navigate the next 90 days before we all come together again and do the whole thing in the next quarter. Now, I love the traditional mastermind format where everyone does a hot seat, but when I launched the DDSA, I wanted something more dynamic that would enable me to motivate and inspire a larger group of people. So I modeled my immersion events on the ones I attend with my coach, Paul Mort. So, what went down in Lumley? Well, the theme of this particular immersion event was visibility and how to get your business seen by more potential clients who desperately need your help. So rather appropriately, I named it Content in the Castle. We had an amazing special guest in Stephen Inala-Reedy, who spent 2 days showing my members how to create content that attracts attention, builds authority, and ultimately helps people trust you. Now, before you think this article is going to be about social media, bear with me, because the biggest lesson I took away from Lumley Castle wasn't really about content at all. It was about longevity. See, as part of the event, we enjoyed a tour of the castle, and on the tour, our guide Phil told us that Lumley Castle is over 600 years old. 600 years, think about that for a second. Most businesses struggle to make it through their first 10 years. Many don't make it through their first 10 months. Yet this place has been standing since the 1300s. Now, I know what you're thinking, this is a castle, not a business, and there's no way a business could last as long as Lumley has been standing, right? Wrong. The world's oldest continuously operating business is a Japanese construction company called Kongo Gumi. It was founded in 578 AD and spent more than 1400 years building Buddhist temples before becoming a subsidiary of the Takamatsu construction group in 2006. 1400 years! And they aren't the only business to play the long game. The Royal Mint has been producing coins for over 1100 years. Lloyd's of London started life in a coffee house in 1688 and became one of the most famous insurance markets in the world. The Hudson Bay Company was founded in 1670 and was only liquidated last year. This got me thinking, what separates organisations that last for centuries from businesses that disappear faster than a gravy bone in a Labrador's dinner bowl? Well, clues were revealed as we wandered around the castle, when Phil, our guide, kept pointing things out like, this bit is original, but that staircase was restored. These windows were replaced. That turret fell off 10 years ago. This room used to serve a completely different purpose. In other words, the castle isn't exactly the same castle that stood there 600 years ago. It's evolved, it's adapted. Bits have been repaired, modernized, and restored. Which reminded me a bit of Trigger's broom. Now, for my American watchers, Trigger was a character in the British sitcom Only Fools and Horses. In one of the most famous and funny scenes, Trigger proudly explains that he's had the same broom for 20 years. The only catch is it's had 17 new heads and 14 new handles. Yet, according to Trigger, it's the same broom. Boom, boom. Or should I say, broom, broom. Now, Trigger's broom maintenance aside, that situation basically describes every successful business. You can't run a successful business for any meaningful period of time without getting very good at dealing with change. The staff is going to change, the services are going to change, the systems change and develop, your prices change, hopefully one way up. The technology changes, the marketing changes, hell, sometimes even the owner changes, but the business survives. And this is where Stephen's presentation tied everything together beautifully. See, one of the biggest messages over the 2 days was that visibility and trust are not the same thing. Stephen's point wasn't that visibility doesn't matter. It obviously does, but visibility creates familiarity. Familiarity creates confidence. Confidence creates trust, and trust creates sales. Most business owners think they need more people to see them, so they chase numbers. They think they need more reach, more views, more followers, more likes, more hearts, more comments, and more shares. But visibility alone doesn't create sales. Trust does. Stephen described your content plan as a risk reduction mechanism, and I thought that was a pretty brilliant way of putting it, because every buying decision involves risk. A dog owner is taking a risk when they leave their dog with you. A client is taking a risk when they hand their credit card over. A pet owner is taking a risk when they trust your advice. Your job is to make that decision feel safe. So every email, every podcast, every review, every video, every client story, and every piece of useful content you share should help remove uncertainty. It should help people understand who you are, how you think, what you believe, what your standards are that you operate by. It should help them get to know the person behind the business, and as we know, people buy people. So show them how you think, show them what you believe, what your standards are, how you do things, why you believe so strongly in whatever it is you believe strongly about when it comes to pet care. That will make it easier for them to decide whether they can trust you. And that's where the castle comes in. Because when I was walking around Lumley, I was thinking about trust. See, every successful business I've ever admired has eventually built its own fortress of trust. They've amassed and curated so much social proof that you feel reassured that you've picked the right vendor, and you'd be silly to trust anyone else. In fact, by the time many people buy, they've convinced themselves it would be foolish to go anywhere else. So with hindsight, instead of content in the castle, I should have called the event How to Build a Fortress of Trust. Don't worry about looking good, impressing people, or heaven forbid, going viral. Just put content out there that reassures prospects. How do you do that? By sharing your philosophy, explaining your standards, show people how you think, demonstrate how you solve problems. You need to tell stories, showcase results, document the client journey, and turn happy clients into case studies. All this gives people confidence that they're making a good decision. With this mindset, every review, every testimonial, every client success story, every behind the scenes video, every podcast, every email, every article, every promise you keep becomes another stone in your fortress. Most business owners obsess over reach. How many views, how many followers, how many likes? But a better question might be, does this piece of content make somebody trust me more? Because if it does, then you're moving in the right direction. And the businesses that survive for decades don't necessarily have the biggest audience, but they usually do have the deepest reserves of trust. So that's what I took away from Lumley Castle. In fact, me and my DDSA members also took away a whole new content plan from Stephen that they are actioning right now. This will help them build trust in their town and connect with more local dog owners, which will in turn help them grow their businesses faster. See, the organizations that are built on rock solid reputation, they become known, they become respected, and eventually they become trusted. And that, my friend, is a fortress worth building. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.